Hi, folks. Welcome to the session on Taskmate. I'm Alap, and I look after go-to-market and sales for the Next Billion Users team at Google. Mike?
Oh, hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Mike. I'm a product manager working on Taskmate. It's great to be joining the session today.
Thanks, Mike. Welcome again, folks. Quickly to share the agenda of what we'll be going through today. We'll be sharing a little bit about what we mean by the next billion users, talking a bit about the concept of crowdsourcing and the importance, and then sharing about this new app that we have just released in the market called Taskmate, how it works, why Taskmate is different, and then towards the end, share a few success stories on Taskmate. So jumping right into it, what do we mean by the next billion users? So what we've noticed is the first billion users came largely from developed markets in US, EMEA, Australia, and developed parts of the world. But as access to devices, access to connectivity, and access to technology grew, we've seen that the next billion users that have come online have come from very different regions. So we see these users coming online from markets like India, Southeast Asia, parts of Africa, and Latin America. And what we realized is that these users are fundamentally very different from the first billion users. So at the next billion users team at Google, our endeavor is to create products and solutions for these new users who are or novice internet users as they come online. Now, what we also know is that over 50% of the global internet population now lives in these next billion users or NBU markets, as we call them. And this is going to grow to about 75% by 2025 as more users get access to the internet. Now, overall, globally, there's about 4 billion users that are online. But if you look at just a market like India, by 2025, we'll have 1 billion users online in India. So it's no surprise that when we are trying to create solutions, we always, thinking of these new internet users. So just to give you an example, in our efforts to create connectivity and bring more users online, we actually started an initiative called Google Station, which provided fast, free, and unlimited internet to users in markets, starting with India. We eventually extended this to about 9 markets globally and ran it for about 5 years, where we almost had 30 million unique users connecting to our Wi-Fi setup every month. In addition, what we've seen is that smartphone penetration is growing rapidly at over almost 40% year over year. Just in sub-Saharan Africa, which is countries like South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, this growth's been actually faster. They've almost grown at 50% year over year over the past 5 years. Right. The other thing that we know is that a lot of these users are predominantly on Android. In fact, almost 90% of the new internet users are on Google's Android platform. So it just makes sense that whenever we're thinking about development of new products and solutions, we keep these users in mind so that we're catering for the largest swath of population that's online. The other interesting thing about new internet users is that they're largely mobile first and mobile only, predominantly. So, which means that mobile development and keeping these users front and center when we are developing solutions is also extremely important. Right. So, our philosophy in the NBU team is that if we're building for NBU, then we're largely building for the world, because through the NBU user, we're actually getting an access and a window to pretty much every other user out there or accessing our products and services. And this principle has been front and center in all the development we've done, and also continues to be the same for Taskmate, which has also been built on the same philosophy. But before we talk about Taskmate, let's quickly dive into crowdsourcing and the concept of crowdsourcing. So in fact, crowdsourcing as a concept is not new. It's been around for many years.
Alep, hi.
Hi.
Sorry to interrupt, Alep. I think we can't see the slides. Do you want to just try quickly representing the slides again?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me just try again. Can you see my slides now?
I think we can see them, but it's just the title screen, potentially.
Yeah.
Apologies for the tech glitch. Okay, trying to move on. Apologies, folks. It was showing up here, but wasn't showing up on the screen. So
I can try presenting as well.
Okay, I'm on the crowdsourcing slide now, if that's visible to everyone. Can you see the slides?
Yeah, you might need to stop presenting and then I can try.
Okay.
Sorry, folks, we practiced this before the event and it was working perfectly, and for some reason it's not working.
Okay, I've gone off presenter mode. Apologies again.
Is that working? Hello, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see the slide on screen, Mike. Thanks for that.
Great.
Thanks, Mike, and apologies, team, again. So yeah, talking about crowdsourcing, one of the primary reasons why crowdsourcing is becoming front and center now is because access to earning opportunities, is a challenge in emerging markets, either due to demographics or location, or just the geographic spread and concentration of economic opportunities in some of the larger urban centers. So next slide, Mike. Increasingly, what's happened is that more workers are looking for flexibility in their working lives. And this is not just true for emerging markets, but it's also true for markets like US and UK. In fact, a recent study done in the UK projected that the number of gig workers in the UK would go from about 4.7 million in 2018 to about 8.6 million in 2023. So that's almost a 50% growth. And similar numbers in the US, where it's projected that people working on gig work-like jobs could grow to almost 80 million by 2023. So this is a trend that we're probably going to be seeing increasingly across different parts of the world. Next slide, Matt. And then it's no surprise that the global gig economy for just professional services is going to almost double, during the same period. In fact, if you look at the overall gig economy globally, which includes things like transportation services like Ubers and Gojeks and Grabs of the world, or for asset-related services like Airbnbs, and other related services, it's almost going to be about 450 billion by 2023. Increasingly, the gig economy, which engages, different forms of crowd work, is looking like a pretty strong on a pretty strong growth trajectory. Next slide. So while on the one hand, the workers are moving to a slightly different work style and forms of work, businesses are still a bit hesitant and unsure of how best to utilize the crowd. For a variety of reasons. First is a lot of the business activities and tasks have not been broken down into small chunks that can actually be handed over to crowds or gig workers for them to actually do piecemeal and then bring it all back together to create one consolidated piece of work. Second, there are large concerns about quality. And the quality of work that can be done within a particular organized setup versus the quality of work that will be done by a set of unorganized workforce. Then there are concerns about pricing, about the speed, and how best to utilize the existing population or the existing workforce. Towards that, we are attempting to create a solution, and which is largely, at this stage, experimental, but we're trying to our best to find a solution for this, and hence Taskmate. So let me hand it over to Mike now to talk more about Taskmate and how Taskmate can help with crowdsourcing.
Great, thanks so much, Alap. Hi everyone. I'm Mike Knapp. I'm a product manager working on Taskmate, and really, really excited to be joining today's event. We've been experimenting and iterating on this idea, this concept of Taskmate, an easy-to-use mobile-first crowdsourcing app for a little bit of time. And this year, we've launched our beta program in Kenya, India, and Mexico. The goal of this product is to make it really easy for everyone to build more inclusive products by tapping into diverse talent around the world and bringing regional languages as well as hyper-local expertise to your fingertips. However, the idea for this app actually came out of a lot of field research we were doing in India. And when we talked to people about the technology that they increasingly had in their pocket, the smartphone, they told us that they wanted a way to make this device productive. So how could they tap into digital earning opportunities? And so we really started with this vision of creating sustainable economic opportunities for people around the world using some sort of crowdsourcing. And the mission that we've really arrived at is to try and build the fairest platform that we can for distributing digital earning opportunities. And we're not there yet. It's still an experimental system, but we're very, very pleased with how it's going so far. In developing this product, we've had in mind 3 user personas, so homemakers, students, and retirees. And in our research, and we've done a lot of user studies and a lot of user interviews around the world in different countries, this product really resonates with them. Be it that they're a homemaker and they find it hard to get access to work given their family commitments, or they're a student and they're looking, they've only got a certain amount of time between studies to make ends meet, or they're a retiree and they might have been pushed out of the workforce. When we show them something like Taskmate, an app that they can use on their phone to earn additional money, that concept really resonates with them. So some of the things that we've been experimenting with in terms of tasks are translation. That's a big one. The world has over 7,000 languages, and today, there's a huge headroom in terms of how we can address all of those. Verifying local business information on the ground. particularly given COVID-19. There's a need for updated local information. And then things like filling out surveys and other kinds of small, simple tasks that they can do on their phone. And we'll look at some of the projects later in the presentation. Okay, so let's look at how it works. So Taskmate is a double-sided marketplace, and the first element of that is actually creating the tasks for people to do. And so we've created a very intuitive, easy to use application that people can come in, and this would predominantly be a business, so someone with tens of thousands of tasks that they need done, and you can create your project here, and it's very, very easy to fill it out, and you can see a preview of what the tasker will see when they're using the application. And then on the tasker side, there's an easy to use app that they can download onto their phone. So if you're in Kenya, India, or Mexico right now, you can go to the Play Store and download this. And it's quite fun to use. You can browse the tasks that are available. If you like the look of the task, you can click into it, participate, and if your work is accepted, then you'll be paid the reward. Okay, so why is Taskmate different? There are other platforms on the market. We've done a lot of research around the world and spent time in India, Kenya, Mexico, Brazil, Indonesia, where we saw the rising need for earning opportunities. And one of the key takeaways there is that it had to be on a smartphone. A lot of platforms are aimed at desktops, and people in Indonesia, for example, predominantly just skipped over the desktop and went straight to smartphones. And so we've really been focused on how do we create a great smartphone experience. And in Kenya was actually the place where we ran the initial large-scale pilot, and was really amazing. This is an image of the team visiting Nairobi and doing a design workshop with users. So we spent a lot of time really working with users to try and understand their needs and how they might use an app like this. And a personal note, I really enjoyed going to Kenya, and I absolutely can't wait to get back. And so the other thing I think we're really focused on is how do we create inclusive products? So Google obviously has a number of information products around the world. How can we make them really accessible and easy to use around the world in different languages? That's, I think, what we're really trying to do with this, in addition to creating these economic opportunities. Some other features that are on the platform. We've got an API. So being Google, we love our data APIs and making it easy for developers. So you can send the tasks programmatically and read the results back programmatically. There's also an option to pay per task. So people can do your task and you can pay them a reward for that, but you can also bring your own taskers to the platform. So if you have some volunteers, for example, you could set up a project and you could use the Taskmate platform to easily talk to those volunteers. And there's a quote there from Slang Labs that did some early work with us. They like the easy setup and having complete control over the turnaround times and costs and demographic information. So some success stories. Kind of a fun one, I think, is that in June of 2020, we invited 1,000 people in Kenya to help us translate Alice in Wonderland into 6 Kenyan languages. So we split the text into sentences, and then we asked them to translate into Kiswahili, Kikuyu, Loa, Kamba, Luhia, and Ma. And we were just blown away by how enthusiastically people were participating in this task, and we hope to continue this important work. I don't think we necessarily got the translations perfectly correct on the first try. I think there's still a little bit more work to be done there, but we actually learned a lot from this project, and we were able to build additional features to actually help us improve the quality in the future. A really, really exciting project that we've been working on is a partnership with Plant Village, which is an organization supported by the United Nations and led by Dr. David Hughes. It was founded to help smallholder farmers adapt to climate change by collecting ground truth data. So Plant Village is able to examine crops and then develop recommendations for farmers on how to improve crop yields. And recently they were awarded $39 million by USAID to continue this important work of tackling climate change and food security. And so we got really excited when they wanted to use Taskmate to make the data gathering more efficient. We did a number of things with them. The first thing we did is we needed to have a good idea of where the farms were in Kenya. And so we turned to the Taskmate taskers to help us create a map of the farm locations across Kenya. So we had them review satellite images to identify where the farms were. And it took about 200,000 tasks in all to study the entire country grid by grid. And we were able to produce a rough sort of map of where all of the farms were. And we did that very, very quickly. So it was sort of 48 hours to identify all the farm locations in Kenya. And those are the red dots you see in the image there. And after that, the real fun began. We had the taskers actually go out to the farms and take photos of the crops on public roads. And that helps the research team understand the crop growth at certain times of the year and what crops are being grown in different regions. And that gives them ideas for recommendations that they can give to the farmers to improve the crop yields. So I'll see that in a minute, but just for fun, we thought, why don't we map all of India and see where the farms were roughly. And so this image, again, there was about 650 people that worked on it and processing 250,000 map tiles to do that. So yeah, here are some images from this project in Kenya. So these images are really, really valuable for researchers that are studying the effects of climate change because they can see what's happening on the ground, and then that gives them ideas for ways to improve crop yields. We might just finish on a small video now explaining more about the project, and I'm just going to have to quickly represent to be able to, so you can hear the audio. So just bear with me for one moment.
The mission of Plant Village is to work with smallholder farmers to help them adapt to climate change and mitigate its effects.
We have an application we put into farmers' phones, and they are able to go into the field and they're able to diagnose their crops themselves.
Plant Village combines machine learning models and technologies with human expertise. One of the main challenges we face is validating what's happening on the ground in comparison to what we simulate is happening with our modeling team. We use Taskmate to set tasks for users from here in the US to specific regions in Kenya. Users go to a predetermined location, take a picture of the field, submit it, and then earn income from that. To date, we have collected over 600 images with Taskmate.
Being paid for the tasks is a great benefit.
When you have Taskmate, you can have some money that can be used during tough times.
Taskmate is directly helping our farmers by short-term providing them additional income, and then long-term we're able to validate our AI model results and then reach more people with this highly specific advice.
With Taskmate here, we are talking about technology coming in to help the farmers. We are going to look at the patterns and give solutions.